Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're delving into a riveting exploration of Jamaican Dons, the enigmatic gang leaders who've left an indelible mark on the island's history. This is part one of our series where we'll dive deep into the origins, influence, and stories surrounding these notorious figures. From their rise to power to the impact on Jamaican society, we're about to uncover the untold tales of the Dons. Buckle up for an eye-opening journey into the underworld of Jamaican gang culture. If you enjoy content like this, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Let's jump right into the intriguing world of Jamaican Dons, Part 1. William Augustus Moore. William Augustus Moore, born on March 14, 1961, and known by the alias Willie Haggart, gained notoriety as a Jamaican gangster, purportedly holding a prominent position in the criminal underworld as the leader of the Black Roses crew. His moniker Willie Haggart stemmed from a local twist on hog heart, reflecting his tough nature. Moore, the third child in his family, was born in Kingston and attended Jonestown Primary. During his youth, Moore was associated with the Wild Bunch crew under the leadership of Anthony General Starky Tingle. However, following the brutal murder of his mentor, General Starky, in Jamaica around 1981, Moore ventured abroad. On November 11, 1980, he faced legal consequences, being convicted in the Halfway Tree Court for unlawful possession and fined 50 JMD. Subsequent police records indicated a conviction on November 30, 1993 for marijuana possession, resulting in a 100 JMD fine or a 30-day sentence. In 1995, he faced a robbery with aggravation charge, but the case was eventually dismissed. In the early 1990s, Willie Haggart, by invitation from Bogle, joined the Roses Entertainment Party crew, gaining widespread recognition in the global dancehall community. The famous Willie Bounce dance move was crafted and named in his honor. Returning to Jamaica in 1993, Haggart married his common-law wife, Angela Lickle Miss Moore, on December 18th. The couple had 2 children, Siobhan and Andrea. Haggart, acknowledging 18 children, including 6 males named Redman, Steve, Ryan, Little Willie, and twins Corian and Carrion, passed away on April 18, 2001. After his death, additional individuals stepped forward, asserting Haggart as their father, potentially increasing the number of his offspring to over 20. On the fateful afternoon of April 18, 2001, Willie Haggart was engaged in conversation with 2 friends from the Black Roses crew, Ned Big Bunny Hines and Albert Blackadoosh Bonner, on Lincoln Avenue, Kingston 13. A Toyota Corolla pulled up and 3 men got out, who immediately opened fire. Hines and Bonner died instantly, and Haggart died en route to hospital. Christopher Dudas Coke. Christopher Michael Coke, also known as Dudas, was born on March 13, 1969, as the youngest child of Lester Lloyd Coke and Patricia Halliburton. Lester Coke, alias Jim Brown, was the founder of the Shower Posse, a notorious drug gang implicated in distributing substantial amounts of cocaine and marijuana in Jamaica and the United States. Alongside co-founder Vivian Blake, Lester Coke was linked to over 1,000 murders in both countries during the late 1980s and early 1990s. Raised in affluence due to their father's drug-related profits, Christopher and his siblings attended prestigious private schools. Tragically, his sister and brother fell victim to drug-related violence in 1987 and 2004, respectively. Christopher gradually became involved in his father's organization. Following Lester Coke's death in 1992, Christopher, at the age of 23, assumed leadership of the gang, becoming the de facto authority in the Tivoli Gardens community in West Kingston. He initiated community programs to assist the underprivileged and garnered significant local support, to the extent that Jamaican police faced challenges entering the neighborhood without community consent. In 2010, Coke was arrested on drug charges and extradited to the United States, sparking violence among his supporters in West Kingston. In 2011, he pleaded guilty to federal racketeering charges related to drug trafficking and assault. On June 8, 2012, the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York sentenced him to 23 years in federal prison. Claudia Massup. Born in 1949 in Denhamtown, West Kingston, Massup, also known as Jack, had humble beginnings engaging in minor criminal activities such as street hustling and pimping during his early years. Transitioning to building contractor work, he became the chief contractor, gaining recognition as the leader of what would later evolve into the infamous Shower Posse by the age of 18 in 1967. Notorious gangster Lester Lloyd Jim Brown Coke would later assume leadership of this gang. By 1967, Massup exerted significant influence in the emerging housing projects for the urban poor, eventually shaping what is now known as Tivoli Gardens. During this time, his primary gang rivals included George Feathermop Spence, Winston Burry Boy Blake, and Anthony Tony Welch from the nearby Arnett Gardens jungle area. Infamous for their violent methods, Blake and Spence led a motorcycle gang for nearly a decade, 1967-76, acting as political enforcers for Housing Minister Anthony Spaulding. Despite Massup facing numerous arrests, including charges of murder, armed robbery, perjury, and shooting with intent, no convictions were secured. In January 1978, Massup achieved notoriety through a political truce, peace treaty, involving his close associate and Chief Lieutenant Carl Baya Mitchell, JLP, and Aston Bucky Marshall Thompson, PNP. Prior to this truce, a brutal battle between the political factions resulted in over 800 deaths, leading up to the 1980 general elections. Massup's life came to a tragic end on February 4, 1979, when he was fatally shot by the police, reportedly at least 40 times. The incident occurred after leaving a football match in Spanish Town involving the Tivoli Gardens Football Club alongside two other men named Lloyd Fraser and Alfonso Trevor Tinson following a police car chase. Donald Zeke Fipps. Born in the 1950s, Donald Fipps, widely known as Zeke, fathered 15 children and gained popularity for his frequent appearances on television, where he proudly spoke about his impoverished background. Zeke held a firm grip over the Mateus Leon community in West Kingston, ruling with an iron fist before ultimately succumbing to the very violence he once commanded. The younger brother of Glenn Ford Early Bird Fipps, a notable figure in the Mateus Lean community during the 1970s and 1980s, Zeke was linked to the establishment of the Spangler Posse, which reportedly had strong affiliations with the People's National Party, PNP. Law enforcement suspected that Zeke amassed considerable wealth through an extortion racket in downtown Kingston's business hub. Despite his diminutive stature, Zeke rose to national attention during the Physiques riots in September 1998. However, his fortunes took a drastic turn in 2006 when he was found guilty and convicted of a double murder. This verdict sparked local and international controversy. The prosecution accused Zeke of murdering Rodney Ferguson, also known as Rodney, and Dayton Williams, known as Scotch Bright, whose bodies were discovered in a burning heap of tires near Mateus Leon in April 2005. Zeke's arrest and subsequent trial unfolded against the backdrop of his influence in the community, sparking unrest among his followers. On June 24, 2012, the United Kingdom Privy Council dismissed Zeke's appeal against his conviction and life sentence. The prosecution presented evidence suggesting Zeke's involvement in the murders, including witness testimonies detailing his purported orders and a chilling statement about his connection with one of the victims. Zeke's legal battles also involved clashes with law enforcement in the past. In 1998, he was detained for questioning, leading to riots and casualties. Additionally, he faced charges of illegal possession of ammunition, possession of ganja, and breaches of the Pharmaceutical Act in 2004. Despite his charismatic leadership style and community stability efforts, Zeke faced a life sentence, ordered to serve 30 years before being eligible for parole. His complex legal journey involving claims of unconstitutional practices and alleged unlawful seizure of funds marked the tumultuous life of a figure once considered a community leader in downtown Kingston. All right, folks, that wraps up our deep dive into the intriguing world of Jamaican Dons in Part 1. We hope you found this exploration into the lives and legacies of these notorious gang leaders as fascinating as we did. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to stay tuned for the upcoming parts of our Jamaican Dons series. Your support means the world to us, and we can't wait to continue unraveling the stories behind these enigmatic figures. Thanks for joining us on this journey, and we'll catch you in the next installment. Until then, take care and stay curious. Hey YouTube fam, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we're diving into the intriguing world of Jamaican Dons, exploring the lives and stories of some notorious gang leaders in this highly complex landscape. If you missed part 1, make sure to check it out. We left off with some jaw-dropping tales, and part 2 promises even more shocking revelations. From the gritty streets of Kingston to the influence these Dons have had on Jamaican culture, politics, and beyond, we're unraveling the layers of power, crime, and resilience that define these figures. So buckle up, hit that subscribe button, and let's delve into the riveting tales of Jamaican Dons Part 2. Let's begin with number 1 on our list, Tesha Miller. Reports indicate that Tesha Miller, born on August 6, 1980, spent 5 years at Spanish Town High School but left without obtaining any CXC passes. Subsequently, he pursued a career as a welding apprentice after leaving high school and is the father of 5 children. Tesha Miller's name is synonymous with some of the most egregious gang-related crimes in St. Catherine, Jamaica. Widely recognized as the leader of one of the island's most notorious gangs, the 40-year-old has a controversial criminal history. In January 2005, Tesha Miller, also known as Rat, was acquitted of the triple murders of Orain Jackson, Jeffrey Johnson, and Nicole Allen in Brayton, St. Catherine. Later, in June 2010, he was also acquitted of the 2004 gun murder of John Houghton due to insufficient evidence in the Home Circuit Court. Following a 7-year imprisonment sentence for illegal possession of a firearm and 15 years for robbery with aggravation, Miller fled to the United States in March 2013 after being cleared of gun and robbery charges. Upon completing a prison term in the U.S., he was deported to Jamaica in 2016. Upon his return, Tesha Miller became a person of interest, according to Jamaica's Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch, (CTOC). This designation came amidst a spike in murders in the St. Catherine North Division, where the Klansman gang, actively led by Miller, engaged in criminal activities. Despite fleeing to the Bahamas in 2017, Miller was held for illegal entry and deported back to Jamaica in March of the same year. He managed to evade authorities until October 2018, when he was finally arrested while attempting to flee the island. Known for his alleged affiliation with the People's National Party, PNP, and the Klansman gang's violent rivalry with One Order in Spanish Town, Tesha Miller has faced numerous accusations, including running an elaborate extortion racket that targeted local businesses in St. Catherine. Miller's criminal activities culminated in his conviction in December 2019 for the 2008 murder of Douglas Chambers, the former chairman of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC. He was found guilty on charges of accessory before the fact to murder and accessory after the fact to murder, receiving a combined sentence of 38 years and 9 months. During the trial, a key witness, once affiliated with the Klansman gang, provided crucial testimony, revealing Miller's leadership role and the gang's hierarchy. Miller's alleged victim, Chambers, was fatally shot outside the company's depot in Spanish Town on June 27, 2008. Despite the witness cooperating due to personal losses inflicted by the gang, Tesha Miller's sentencing on January 9, 2020 by Justice Georgiana Fraser underscored the court's view that he had not demonstrated the capacity for reform, emphasizing the need for acknowledgement of wrongdoing as a starting point for rehabilitation. Tesha Miller is currently serving a prison term of 38 years and 9 months. Number 2 on our list is Marlon "Duppy" Flim Perry. On the 3rd of June 2015, the police officially declared Marlon Perry, also known as Duppy Film, a wanted man. Hailing from Phillips Field in Yalla's St. Thomas, Perry, standing at 173 cm or 5 feet 8 inches tall, was sought in connection with multiple crimes, including murders, in the parish. Infamous for terrorizing areas like Poor Man's Corner, Logwood, and Pondside in St. Thomas, He had instilled fear in the community for over 6 years. Family history revealed that Perry faced childhood challenges, including a speech impediment, rendering him an outcast. His stuttering speech and diminutive stature made him an easy target for bullying, with boys taking advantage by taunting him and taking his money. In response, Perry vowed to become a killer, driven by a desire to avenge the torment he endured in his youth. His father, Donovan Perry, had been convicted when Marlon was 8 years old, serving a 12-year sentence for a shooting-related crime. Marlon's upbringing lacked significant maternal support. Duppy Film first came to the attention of law enforcement in 2010 after the murder of Thomas Lane. He gained notoriety for his involvement in the illegal guns for drugs trade, facilitating the entry of firearms into Jamaica. Linked to the deaths of 2 policemen, Corporal Kenneth Davis and Constable Craig Palmer at Poorman's Corner, St. Thomas, Duppy Film was also implicated in a murder in Haiti. Police Commissioner Dr. Carl Williams expressed determination to apprehend him, assuring the slain officers' families justice. Despite being on the run since 2010, Perry was tied to at least 16 murders and was a suspect in incidents dating back to 2007. Wanted for a triple murder in St. Thomas and another shooting in 2013, he remained elusive until a joint police and army operation successfully tracked him down. The reputed leader of the Duppy Flames gang met his end at a small guest house in St. Thomas. Perry's final night was spent in a well-appointed room with air conditioning and a large TV for entertainment. His last meal consisted of fish before he succumbed to a fatal shootout in a downstairs room. At 27 years old, Perry, clutching his favored weapon, a gun, met his demise wearing combat gear and a bulletproof vest. The scene revealed multiple weapons, emphasizing the violent lifestyle that defined Duppy Film until the end. Number 3. Joel Andam. Born in Bull Bay in 1963, Joel Andam relocated to the corporate area at the age of 11. His criminal journey began to unfold in the 1980s when he emerged as a prominent operative. Despite being incarcerated for 8 years on gun possession charges, Andam's notoriety soared after a police raid on his Crawley Hill camp in 2000. The discovery of a video recording depicting Andam with an automatic rifle, surrounded by underlings paying homage, thrust him into the public eye. Since then, Joel Andam's name has been widely spoken across Jamaica, solidifying his street credibility and earning him a reputation as a hero in the criminal underworld. Known as an itinerant criminal, Andam's gang operated in various eastern St. Andrew communities, including Landlease, Mudtown, Kintyre, Papine, and Augustown. Their criminal activities reportedly included 20 murders, rape, extortion, shootings, and other serious crimes. Upon his capture, Andam received 2 20-year sentences for illegal possession of a firearm and shooting with intent, the charges stemming from an incident where he was identified by the police as the assailant. However, Joel Andam's story extends beyond himself. His brother, Pastor David Roper, met a tragic end in 2015 when he was shot dead while conducting a prayer meeting at his church in Mudtown. A year later, Andam's teenage son faced legal troubles after being caught attempting to enter his St. Andrew-based school with a handgun in his backpack. Another brother, Christopher Andam, who had escaped custody for 6 years, was recaptured in 2012 in Mudtown, St. Andrew. He had been awaiting trial for murder at the time of his escape. Furthermore, Andam's second-in-command, Richie Poo Tyndale, is serving a 30-year sentence for the 2003 shooting and robbery of a policeman. Several other members of the Gideon Warriors gang, led by Andam, have met their demise either through police actions or encounters with rival criminals. Notably, 2 Gideon warriors attempting to extort a construction site were fatally shot by a licensed firearm holder defending the premises. The legacy of Joel Andam is intertwined with a network of criminal activities involving his family and associates. Number 4. Donovan Bennett. Donovan Bennett, 1964, 30 October 2005, was a notorious Jamaican criminal and the leader of the Klansmen, or Klans Massive gang, based in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. His infamy led to his inclusion in the Jamaica Constabulary Force's list of the top 10 most wanted criminals for over a decade until his demise. Born in King Street, Spanish Town, Bennett gradually established a criminal empire marked by murder and extortion, amassing assets such as 80 motor vehicles and heavy equipment used in construction and hauling industries across Jamaica. A member of the Klansmen, Bennett is believed to have ascended to leadership by orchestrating the murder of the then leader, Derek Puppy String Eccleston, on 12 May 1993. In the early 1990s, he led his gang in violent conflicts against their rivals, the One Order Gang, resulting in numerous gangland shootings and other forms of violence in Spanish Town. Expanding his criminal operations, he set up intricate extortion schemes targeting local businesses, particularly taximen in central and south-central regions of St. Catherine. His criminal influence extended to Old Harbor, Portmore, St. Catherine, and May Pen. There are indications that Bennett briefly fled authorities in Kingston to Great Britain under a false identity in 2001. Defying surrender, he and his driver were eventually killed during a gun battle with a joint police-military operation as part of Operation Kingfish. This operation aimed to question him about his alleged involvement in 80 unsolved homicides, along with charges of assault and extortion, at his residence in the Tanakay district of Rock River, Clarendon. At the time of his death, Bennett's wealth was estimated at $100 million, and his weapon, a .50 Desert Eagle, was valued at $2,000. Subsequent investigations led by Superintendent Kenneth Wade revealed collaboration between Bennett and members of the People's National Party, which provided political support and information while he operated in areas affiliated with the party. Following Bennett's death, his gang members reacted violently, blocking roads, firing upon the Spanish Town police station, and burning effigies of National Security Minister Dr. Peter Phillips in protest. Thanks for tuning in to part 2 of our exploration into Jamaican Dons, the notorious gang leaders who left an indelible mark on the island's history. We hope you found this deep dive into their lives and the complex dynamics of their influence intriguing. If you haven't checked out part 1 yet, be sure to catch up on the saga of Jamaican Dons. Now here's where you come in. We're considering diving even deeper into this intriguing subject with a part 3, and we want to hear from you. Drop your comments down below, let us know your thoughts, and if you're eager for more, give us a thumbs up. Your feedback fuels our content, and we're always eager to explore the topics that pique your interest. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share this video with fellow enthusiasts of history and Jamaican culture. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and we'll catch you in the next installment. Welcome back to our series, Part 3 of Unveiling the Untold Jamaican Dons Gangsta, Chronicles. In this episode, we unveiled the chilling stories of 4 infamous figures who shaped the island's history with their crime sprees. First, meet Dennis Copper Barth, the ruthless leader of the Hot Stepas gang in the 1970s. Then delve into the reign of General Starky, a feared enforcer who wreaked havoc in Arnett Gardens and Jonestown. Finally, discover the captivating tale of Vincent Martin, known as Ryging, whose daring escapades gripped Jamaica in the late 1940s. Subscribe now for more gripping true crime stories. Number 1. Dennis Copper Barth. Dennis Copper Barth rose to infamy as one of the notorious rude boys of the 1970s, leader of the Hot Stepas gang, a period marked by heightened criminal activity in Jamaica. Renowned for his brazen acts of violence, Barth earned a reputation as one of the most dangerous criminals of his era, though the extent of his notoriety remains subject to interpretation. Reports depict his crimes as if plucked from the scripts of Hollywood crime epics, with Barth seemingly reenacting scenes from popular criminal mastermind movies. The landscape of law enforcement in 1970s Jamaica was vastly different from today, with the police force deemed less equipped to handle the likes of Barth and his ilk. Armed to the teeth, criminals like Barth held the upper hand, often wielding bigger and more powerful weapons than the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, could muster. Barth's formative years were marred by exposure to criminal elements engaged in warfare against the state, leading him to adopt an ideology that politicized crime. By the tender age of 18, Barth had already amassed a rap sheet brimming with major offenses, including the murder of a policeman, for which he received a life sentence. Behind bars, Barth immersed himself in literature that armed him with guerrilla tactics against the state, further cementing his reputation as a formidable adversary. Despite his notoriety, detailed eyewitness accounts of Barth's exploits are scant, a testament to the aura of fear surrounding him. Yet many law enforcement veterans of his era deemed him a public enemy, attributing him with leadership of the Hot Steppers gang of East Kingston, notorious for a spate of bank robberies in the tumultuous 1970s. Barth's brushes with the law were marked by daring escapes from incarceration, solidifying his status as a cold-blooded fugitive. Such was the intensity of fear and loathing towards him that a hefty bounty was placed on his head. In a dramatic turn of events, Barth's reign of terror met its end during a botched robbery attempt at Caymanas Park on April 30th, 1978. Recognized by police while ascending an escalator, Barth engaged in a fatal shootout, resulting in his demise and the loss of a law enforcement officer's life. Number 2. Anthony General Starky Tingle. General Starky, born Anthony General Starky Tingle, was a notorious figure in Jamaica's criminal underworld during the 1970s. Alongside his partner in crime known as Hutch and their gang, Starky held sway over the Arnett Gardens and Jonestown communities, particularly after the fall of Bury Boy and Feathermop in 1975. In the vacuum left by their predecessors, Starky and Hutch seized the opportunity to establish their dominance, filling the void with a reign of terror marked by violence and intimidation. This period coincided with Jamaica's turbulent political landscape, where young men from impoverished areas were lured into the world of political thuggery. Their rise to prominence took inspiration from the popular American television series Starsky and Hutch, from which they adopted their monikers. However, their actions went far beyond mere imitation, as they unleashed a wave of criminality that gripped the communities they controlled. Despite efforts to broker peace, tensions simmered beneath the surface, leading to a tragic breakdown in relations between rival factions. Starky's gang was implicated in various acts of violence and criminality, perpetuating a cycle of fear and instability. General Starky's notoriety grew as he orchestrated violent clashes with law enforcement, symbolizing his brazen defiance of authority. His confrontations with the police, including a daring encounter with Trinity, a resilient officer, highlighted his audacity and disregard for the law. Despite facing charges and fleeing the country to Canada, General Starky's reign of terror persisted until his eventual demise. On June 1, 1981, law enforcement launched a raid on a house where Starky and his associates were hiding. In a dramatic shootout, Starky and 7 of his cronies, including his brother Michael McLeod, were killed. The death of General Starky marked the end of an era in Jamaica's criminal underworld. His legacy serves as a stark reminder of the violence and instability that plagued the country during the 1970s. Number 3. Vincent Martin. Vincent Martin, born in Linstead, St. Catherine, Jamaica, spiraled into a life of crime during his teenage years upon relocating to Kingston. Despite his diminutive stature and soft-spoken demeanor, Martin compensated by cultivating a fearsome reputation for extreme violence. His criminal record commenced at the tender age of 14 with a conviction for wounding, followed by subsequent brushes with the law for offenses ranging from larceny to robbery. Under various aliases including Ivanhoe, Alan Ladd, and Captain Midnight, Martin embarked on a brazen spree of self-dramatization, representing himself in court during a highly publicized trial for robbery in 1946. Following a brief period of incarceration, he swiftly resumed his criminal activities, culminating in a daring escape from prison on April 30th, 1948. What ensued was a harrowing 6-week rampage through the streets of West Kingston, punctuated by audacious confrontations with law enforcement. Dubbed Rijing by the Daily Gleaner newspaper, Martin's notoriety soared as reports of his violent exploits captured the public's imagination. The intensity of his crimes reached a chilling crescendo when Martin fatally targeted Lucille Tibby Young, the girlfriend of an individual he believed had betrayed him. He left a trail of carnage in his wake, with further victims wounded or killed in his relentless pursuit of vengeance. Martin's brazen defiance of authorities was underscored by an open letter to Detective Sergeant Scott, wherein he boasted of his criminal prowess and declared his intent to evade capture. Despite efforts to apprehend him, Martin continued to evade capture, resorting to acts of robbery to fund his flight from justice. In a dramatic climax, Martin's life came to a violent end on September 9, 1948, during a police raid on his hideout at Lime Cay. Engaging in a desperate shootout, Martin succumbed to multiple gunshot wounds, ending his reign of terror at the age of 24. In the years following his demise, Martin's life and crimes became the stuff of legend in Jamaican popular culture, immortalized in films such as The Harder They Come, cementing his legacy as one of the most notorious figures in criminal history. Number 4. Lester Lloyd Coke, aka Jim Brown. Lester Lloyd Coke, also known as Jim Brown, emerged as a prominent figure in Jamaica's criminal underworld as the mastermind behind the Shower Posse, a notorious gang operating from the Tivoli Gardens Garrison community in West Kingston. Notably, Coke's involvement in the shooting of Bob Marley on December 3, 1976 was highlighted in the Netflix documentary Remastered: Who Shot the Sheriff. Following the demise of Claudia Massup, Coke's mentor and the former leader of Tivoli Gardens, Coke assumed leadership and co-founded the Shower Posse alongside Vivian Blake. This transition marked the beginning of the gang's notorious reign, dealing in cocaine and cannabis trade across Jamaica and the United States, and sadly being associated with numerous homicides in both countries. In 1990, Coke's criminal activities caught the attention of the United States Department of Justice, leading to indictments against him and other gang members. Subsequently, Coke was apprehended by Jamaican authorities and detained at the General Penitentiary in Kingston, awaiting extradition to the United States to face charges of drug trafficking and murder. Tragically, in February 1992, Coke faced another blow with the violent death of his eldest son, Mark "Ja T." Coke. Shortly after this devastating loss, a fire erupted in Coke's cell, resulting in his death under suspicious circumstances, sparking speculation of foul play. The year 1992 was further marked by tragedy for the Coke family as Mark Coke was shot and killed while riding his motorcycle down Maxfield Avenue in St. Andrews. Additionally, Coke's daughter, known as Mumpy, lost her life in a shootout alongside her husband. With the passing of his eldest son, Christopher Coke, Coke's youngest son ascended to the leadership of the Shower Posse, continuing the legacy of criminality and violence associated with the organization. As we conclude Part 3 of our series on infamous figures from Jamaica's criminal underworld, it's clear that the legacies of Dennis "Copper" Barth, General Starky, and Lester Lloyd Coke leave a lasting imprint on the island's history. From Barth's audacious exploits as a rude boy to Starky's reign of terror in Arnett Gardens and Jonestown, and Coke's founding of the notorious Shower Posse, these individuals epitomize the tumultuous era of 1970s Jamaica. Despite their notoriety, their stories serve as cautionary tales of the consequences of crime and violence. As we reflect on their lives, let's also remember the victims and communities affected by their actions. Join us for more riveting stories in our series on Jamaica's criminal underworld. Don't forget to catch up on Parts 1 and 2 if you haven't already, and stay tuned for future updates. If you enjoy and would like a Part 4, please comment Part 4.